Okay, let's add this thing to the network. Add charger, scan QR code on back. There we go. Enter a new PIN number, 1234, 1234, confirm. Connect to Bluetooth, Bluetooth connecting, and then we select our Wi-Fi network. We enter our password for our Wi-Fi, configure Wi-Fi, set the current, hit confirm, it beeps, and we're connected. Hi everybody, welcome to Live Wire Review. Today I'm doing another charger review. EVDance has sent me a much higher powered version of their charger. Now this one, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be portable. Actually it says right here, level 2 portable electric vehicle charger. Now I find something this powerful interesting to be a portable charger because this is a 1450 plug on this one, and it does 40 amps or 9.6 kilowatts worth of power. That's a lot of power for a portable charger. So we're just gonna open the box and find out what's inside here. It's not very big. It's about the same size box as the last couple of products I got from EVDance. And let's see what's inside. So just like the last couple of products, it comes with its own carrying case, about the same size, perfect size to fit in the front of your vehicle or just in the trunk in the back. And it doesn't take up too much space. It comes well packaged as far as I can see. It comes with its own holder that you can, it looks like you can set this up on the wall so you can have a semi-permanent installation. And just like I thought, the size of this thing is not very big. So it's not gonna take up a lot of room in your garage. And if you happen to take it with you, it actually has this little holder that you put right on the wall, has screw holes in it. And all you do is you just slide the unit into it. So you can unplug it and take it with you. I think that's pretty neat. So this is gonna be an ongoing test of this charger. I'm gonna be having this, I'm probably gonna test it for about a month straight before I finish up this video and give you my thoughts on it, because this one is actually gonna come with an app. If you take a look at the box here, there is a QR code to download the app. So we're gonna test out the app and see how well this charger works. If there's any comments that I have, I'm gonna be giving them back to the company, and they're going to take my comments and see what they can do with the product. So one thing I noticed right off the bat, it says it has a 27-foot cord. I've mentioned this in my other video before, that a lot of chargers, they'll only come with a 20 or a 21-foot cord. Some of them come with a 24 or 25-foot. 27 feet might be the difference between picking this one over another type of charger. I'll give you one example. There's another house that I charge at, and I actually have to use a 25-foot cable there. The mobile charger that comes with my Tesla was a couple feet too short, so it ends up being suspended above the ground. So a 25-foot setup was perfect just to fit right over to the car in the garage, where this one is going to make up for even other situations where that doesn't quite fit. So that is one plus for this one. Another plus for this is IP66 rated, which means that it is weatherproof, and the fact that it's a 40 amp charger. So there is nothing you have to give up when it comes to this one, because 40 amps is going to charge even a Chevy Silverado EV overnight for the most part. So without further ado, I'm going to go set this thing up in the garage and get testing. Well, we're out here in the garage and I've got it set up on the wall. Now, I didn't quite have enough room to use this style of holder for this charger. That's because my plug is a little bit too low and I would have had to put it into the cinder blocks here. Now, this is actually kind of a nice setup that the cord comes out the top. It means you don't need this holder, and it definitely is a portable charger. There's lots of support for it if you just plug it into the wall there. And that means that if you're using it as a portable charger, you're not going to have to put up any holders or anything like that. So there are 2 screw holes in the back of this unit that I just put 2 screws into the wood behind here, and you just slip it on. So in my case, it's going sideways and it fits here really nicely. Now I put it over here because my car charges over here on this side. So that little holder that came with it did a really good job of bundling up that wire, and it gives you a spot just to plug it in there. So make sure if you're in Canada, you have to have ESA approval for all your plugs, and make sure that it is all legal and safe. That being said, we're going to move on to some of the features of the charger. Now this one is actually a smart charger. It has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connection. It has the Bluetooth connection so that you can set it up on your app, and it makes it very quick and seamless. I'll show you a screenshot here of me setting it up. All you had to do was accept charger, and the thing was set up within a few seconds. I'm actually pretty impressed with it because my other charger here is one of the Juice Box by NLX. Now that one's got a fairly thick cable. It gets pretty cold and then the cable gets really stiff, and that one's actually a lot harder to set up on Wi-Fi. I kind of fought with it when I first moved in here. Now this one, I downloaded the app, I scanned the QR code, thing was set up within 2 seconds, and there's a couple things here you can do without the app right on the charger. You can hold down this A button in order to set the amperage level. And you see that, you just press it up until you get to the right amperage level, and you can also set this in the app, which is super handy. So if you use it as a portable charger, you don't need it Wi-Fi connected to be able to do that. What's also nice is they have a button here for the schedule, so you can set up scheduled charging even when you're using it as a portable charger. So it goes in this carry bag, and it's going to fit a lot better than my giant juice box over there, which I have tried to take to a friend's house before, and I can tell you, this is a lot better size for that. Now, I haven't tested this long term yet. This is just the beginning of the video, of course. So we're going to get some more details, and we're going to talk about some more features coming up. Okay, so we're at the point where I've got the charger out of the box, and it is now connected to the wall. I got plugged into my 1450 outlet, and it is hooked up to the wall. So in my case, I wasn't able to use this little holster for it, but if it works for you, you just set it up there, the whole unit slides into it, makes it very easy to take it with you if you need to go on a road trip or something like that. Very, very small unit here, but one thing I'm super impressed with, and that's why it was at the beginning of the video, is how easy this thing is to use. It's a Wi-Fi smart EVSE, and I think the easiest part about this whole thing was the connection process. And I really want to harp on that because I've been using the juice box for several years, and it's got this really thick, heavy cable to it, and I swear it took me almost an hour to get this thing connected to the Wi-Fi when I had to go take it to my parents' house for a weekend. This one is not the case. This one is the easiest thing in the world I've ever connected to a Wi-Fi network in my entire life. That's why it was the intro to this video, because it was so fast and so easy. It really does need mentioning twice just because of how easy it is. So you download the EVDance app. All you do is hit add charger, and all it needs is a picture of the QR code. If this is worn off or anything like that, all you need is the serial number off of it. But all you do is you line up your camera there, you make up a new PIN number, you hit confirm, and it automatically connects by a Bluetooth first before it connects to Wi-Fi. So that way your phone is connected directly to the EVSE, and it does the connection itself. So you just hit connect Bluetooth, and the next step is we're going to connect it to the Wi-Fi network. And now I pick my Wi-Fi network and I enter my password for the Wi-Fi. I know you've already seen this at the beginning of the video. It's just, if you look at the timer on the bottom of the video, you'll see exactly why I thought this was so interesting. Because I've connected to my Wi-Fi already. I hit confirm, unit beeps, it's set up and ready to go. I have never had an EVSE or any other Wi-Fi connection that easy to set up in my life. I am just blown away by the connection to Wi-Fi on this and how easy it is for everybody to use. So at this point in the video, we're going to talk about the app. There are a lot of different things on the app that are really handy with this device. So if you go to the home screen, you're going to find your voltage that's coming to it. You're going to see the amount of energy that was put into the battery on the last charge. If it's currently charging, it's going to show you the amount of power that is going into the car at the moment. It has a timer that shows you how long you've been charging for. It shows the temperature and the current. So a lot of good information there. Now, some of the more interesting stuff is actually under the section that says plan. So that would be your scheduled charging. So you can go up under schedule, you can add a schedule, you can do delayed stop and start. But something you have to know about this in order to set your schedule is you have to go back to charging, you have to go to settings, and you have to go to charging mode. Now the reason you have to go to charging mode is that changes what type of charging you're looking for. So right here it shows plug-in charge and anti-theft charging. Anti-theft charging is what they've called scheduled charging. It means that this can turn on and off at will. It is not controlled by the car. This would be the master in that case. So you cannot set scheduled charging unless you've gone into your charger settings and changed it to anti-theft charging. So we're going to confirm that. It beeps to say that it worked. Incredible how fast that worked. And we're going to go back to plan. And this is where you can do delayed stop, you can do charging schedule, you can do target charging quantity and things like that. So let's say you had a 75 kilowatt battery and you only wanted to charge, say, 60 kilowatts, or you only wanted a certain number of kilowatt hours per your charging schedule, you can set that here. So there I've set it to 22 kilowatts. It beeps to confirm. So I'm going to say no limit and go back. Add schedule, and you can set per the day of the week, the time you want it to start, the time you want it to stop. There's a lot of good things here. You can set it to weekend, you can set it to custom, different days of the week. There's so many different things you can do with the schedule here, all on the app, and instant recognition by the EVSE right here. So under charger, it shows you the serial number, it shows you the type of unit that you have. What I really like is the section under here, if you go under account and you go under charging record. The history, it shows you every single charge schedule you've had, and it shows you the stats for all the charging that you've been doing. And I like how it splits it up, and you can set your cost. So right here, I kind of went over my power bill. I took the entire cost of the power and then just divided it across the number of kilowatt hours that I used for the car, because the car itself showed me, but also the charger shows me. So it shows you exactly what's gone to the car, and you can calculate exactly what it costs you. So let's say you're renting somewhere and you want to know exactly how much extra you might have to pay the landlord on the power bill for what you're charging. This will allow you to do that because you can break it down for the cost of the electricity, and it gives you a readout. So for example, last month I used, let's go to month here. Week, year, month, change it to cost, energy. Last month I used 558 kilowatt hours of energy because I did a lot of driving last month. And that cost came up at $94.96. Now that sounds a little high, but that's just because I took the entire power bill and I divided it per kilowatt hour. So that included the delivery fees, included every part of the bill, and that broke down to about 17.3 cents per kilowatt hour. So on this app, I entered 17.3 as the cost, and right here on the graph, it shows you exactly what it costs. So for the year so far, I've used 1,129 kilowatts, and it's cost me $191 in charging. Now that's going to be different wherever you are. Your cost of charging is going to be different, but what's nice is in this app, you are able to set that cost. So you go under settings, you set your currency unit. It has all sorts of different currencies for different countries because this is a global product offered by EVDance. You can change your language, your account and security, and things like that. So we're under the screen that says account. Now you can't change the electricity price there. You have to go back to charging, and you have to hit the little gear button in the corner to go to settings. When you go to settings, you're able to go to the electricity price. There's an average price, and then this is where you can enter your information. So like I said, 17 cents per kilowatt hour. So I'm going to save that. And that way it reflects in the section under the charging record. Now in my case, I'm going to be setting this back to plug and charge because the car that I'm driving right now has a really good schedule built into it, and I would rather the car set the charging schedule rather than the EVSE. But a really good use case for this would be for, let's say, a Nissan Ariya. A Nissan Ariya does not have the best scheduled charging setup in the vehicle. You actually need the Nissan app to do most of the work with that. And that is the only place where you're able to set the vehicle to charge to 80%. So for that kind of vehicle, this is going to come in really handy because then you can do all the settings from here. And let's say you had a Nissan Leaf, for example. Now that car charged to 100% all the time, depending on what year you got. So this is one of the units where you'd be able to control that. You can set the number of kilowatt hours that goes into it. You can set the time that it's going to be charging for and things like that. So for this section, I just want to focus on what's on the screen without using the smart features from the app. So there are two buttons on here. They are touch sensitive buttons. They're not physical buttons. So if you want to set the amperage on the unit without using the app, this would be great for when you're on a road trip and there is no Wi-Fi connectivity. You don't want to use your phone to do it. It's pretty straightforward. You hold down the A button to set the amperage. It starts flashing on the screen. You move between 10, 16, 20, 24, 32 and 40 amps. And when you've reached the amperage level that you want to set it to, all you do is just wait for it to beep and it sets its level. Now this one is the delayed charging start. So all you do is hold it down just like the other one until it beeps, and you select between 0 and 12 hours of delayed start. So fairly straightforward, easy to use. Now in my case, I don't want to delay the start, so I'm going to leave it at 0, and it's just as simple as that. While we have the screen up here, the screen has some very good info on it. Again, you don't need the app for this, so it is great to just take in your trunk and bring wherever you need it to bring. So in this case, it shows 40 amps. When the vehicle is charging, it's going to show the actual amperage that's being used. Sometimes it pushes to 41 amps. This is capable of 9.6 kilowatts worth of charging, which is 40 amps, of course. It shows your temperature in Fahrenheit. It shows you the voltage from the source that you're using. In this case, this can actually show you some wiring issues depending on where you are. Like, for example, I've been to places that have three-phase power, so they have the 208 volts available, and a lot of the time I've seen 170 volts, so you know that there's an issue with the wiring in the building. It shows the amount of kilowatts that it's using at the time, and it also shows the amount of kilowatts that has been put into the vehicle. It shows that it's ready, shows that it's connected to Wi-Fi, and it shows the Bluetooth connectivity, and there's also a timer that shows you how long you've been charging for. So I just wanted to point out one thing about this charger. It is a J1772, and of course you can use the Tesla adapter if you happen to be charging a Tesla at the time. There is an option on the website. You can get one with a Tesla connector on it instead of the J1772. But what I always like to point out is the length of cable that you get with some of these chargers. In this case, it's a 25-foot cable, but it's 27 feet overall from that plug all the way over there, all the way to here. And as you can see, it just reaches. Now, if I was to use the Tesla mobile connector that came with my car, it's only 20 feet long. So you'd actually come up quite short. I'm about 2 feet away from the garage door, at least 2 feet away. You'd have to be so much closer. You'd have to have the trunk of the car almost halfway in the garage just to get that cable to reach. So that's something that is really important if you're looking for an EVSE. And while I'm out here looking at that, at the cable and the length of it, I'd like to say that this is really, really flexible. I've been using this for the past 2 months, and of course we've had several snowstorms and minus 20 degrees. And I can say that this cable has stayed flexible the entire time that I've been using it. One thing that's really important to look for in an EVSE is the one over there, really stiff, really hard to handle, and doesn't quite reach all the way over to the car because of the setup of the EVSE. It's hanging on the wall, it's got a big heavy box. This one is flexible and can actually move over a little bit and give you that extra room that you need. Well, we're coming to the end of this video, and I'm going to wrap up my thoughts on the EVDance 40 amp portable NEMA 1450 charger. So I really like how easy this thing is to connect. Anybody can buy this, and in under 3 minutes you'll have it connect to your Wi-Fi network and to your phone. I've never had anything like this. It just connects so easily. It's so quick. When you go on your phone, it reacts instantly. And for some reason, the software does not interfere with the car. It's just something I've never really dealt with. Usually there's a software issue here or there. Usually a phone will interact with something, but in this case, everything has worked. And I've used this for over 2 months straight. I've used it in the cold weather. I know it works. So some of the best features of this, you have the app. Of course, we know that. It's an app-controlled charger. Scheduled charging, you get to set for off-peak hours. So let's say you get after 7 p.m. your electricity is cheaper. So you can set your timing so that it's after 7 p.m. And you can also stop it at a certain point. Outside of that, you can also set the fact that the number of kilowatt hours that you can put into the battery. It has built-in safety protection, so in this case it has over voltage protection, over current protection, overheating protection, and short circuit protection for worry-free charging. It's also an outdoor ready design. It's IP66 rated, so it's resistance against dust and water. So it's safe to use outside and in your garage and out on the road when you need to use it. But I just like to wrap up my thoughts and say, I'm impressed with this thing. The size of it, the type of cable that comes with it, the fact that you get a 27-foot total length with it. It's 25 feet for the cord, 27 feet when you include this section right here that goes to your 1450 plug. I have used this in the winter, and the fact is this cable is actually flexible even when it's cold, unlike some of the other chargers that I've used, which are just not the case. This one over here, for example, looks like the same kind of cord, but when it gets cold, that thing is really, really stiff and just doesn't work. Now, they have offered me some discount codes, so I'd like to share those with you because it's actually going to save you quite a bit of money. So if you go to the website and use EVD40 Jera, the first part of my name, you'll get 30% off this charger. Now, I was looking at the cost of that on the website. So right now there's a promotion. It's not going to be this price all the time, but right now this is $467 regular price in Canadian dollars. It's currently on for $396 Canadian. But if you type in this discount code for 30% off this charger, it comes to your door for $277.20 Canadian. That's fantastic. The amount of features in this and the fact that it just always works and reacts instantly, I'm just blown away. That's an incredible price for such a good charger. And there is another discount code on here for the rest of the website. You get 20% off the products on the rest of the EVDance website. That is EVD Jeremy. That will give you 20% off all the other chargers. Now, I have 2 other reviews on the channel right now. One is for the extension cable and one is for the 16 amp portable charger. So those are also great products, and you're gonna get 20% off of all those things on the website. Well, if you found this video helpful, maybe think about liking and subscribing to the channel and pay attention to see what we're doing next.